Hello, Something Ghouls and Goblins. This is Something Guy 912 here to provide you with our 5th weekly installment of art architecture pertaining to the Ravenholm chapter of maps. Following from D1_town_03 is D1_town_02A, oddly enough. Although, linearly through the campaign, O2A directly follows from O2, given we go back to O2 after O3. With that slight confusion out of the way, let's dig into this map. And we are now properly in-game. Now, a little quick disclaimer before we proceed through this map. Even though I have no target set to myself, I cannot set no target onto Father Grigori. So I need to have him kind of go through the procession with me. So I can demonstrate just one or a few things throughout this map. So what I've done is given myself a bunch of SMG grenade ammo so I can just blow all these zombies to Kingdom Come. Just in case. I don't think I have any concerns about him dying. It's just more to do with he's just going to get distracted. And I don't want him to get distracted. So we shall proceed. Now, starting through this valley, he runs up on this wooden plank over this fence. Now the immediate question becomes as to why there is this crumpled fence here to just block out this little small portion of valley. And this is going to get more confusing as we go further along where this valley leads into, because you can see that there's poles with lights on them, as to imply that this is a place that somebody would, likely go as like a nature path or whatever. Over here, and then this is where the fast zombies are going to come and assault Grigori, and this is exactly why I have this, so just wait for them to jump down. I just be noob tubing them.
Stay close to me, brother.
Okay, so that's all of them. So the next section we come into is kind of like this side area of the graveyard, I guess, with some more planks for us to run across, and obviously for the sake of Grigori to run across, because I imagine they probably did not have the time to code his AI to climb over things like Alex does. Now, with the notion of that fence being there, we have this tinker being here as well with this light, so it's even more confusing why that would be here, especially if we are to believe that this area is blocked out with this rustic bar thing and these poles for the graveyard. So this would be going nowhere anyway, or it would be, in a sense, already blocked off. You don't need that crumpled fence. I don't know if they were just trying to flex, like, oh yeah, see, NPCs have pathing and they can go over ramps and whatnot, but I don't know if that's really the case. So we will go up here. And then we have a whole amount of zombies that we're beset by, and unfortunately, a lot of these just literally come out of the ether. Like, you see that? Like, they're literally spawning right in front of me. Like, there is absolutely no rhyme or reason for how many zombies come and assault us this way. They just appear. Like, it is very, like, the other times where zombies have appeared, like, there's kind of, like, a more, like, give in the idea that, like, they might have, like, just been lumbering around in Ravenholm, but here it's just, nope. This is the graveyard section. You have a bunch of zombies to kill with Father Grigori, so, of course, we're going to have it be as, like, zombie massacre as possible. Now, getting back to me not, blowing, these zombies up. So, the pathway that we go into this graveyard is oddly serpentining. So, if I, like, do this top-down section, you can see... Okay, maybe a little bit lower. You can see, like, the bars and whatnot, and they kind of, like, as I call it, serpentining, like... And with it serpentining this way, doesn't really give a lot of, yeah, he's alright. Doesn't give a lot of real estate for all these gravestones being here. Like, am I to believe that there's a gravestone that is just built here next to this weird platform thing? I don't even know what this is all about. No, probably not. But, I guess you could also... I guess you could try to reason that maybe this isn't meant to be serpentine, and it's only that way because of this fence here. And that's another thing, too, is that this portion of Graveyard is beset by just normal fences as opposed to bars. But just the intricate nature of them being placed this way makes me think that this has always been the case of this graveyard, to be this serpentining path. So it's like, you know, if you're like a family member that wants to loathe the death of whoever's gravestone this is, well, you know, best have some fun going this whole procession to get over here. And yeah, he's still killing zombies. Probably go kill some himself. He just stays at this point until the fire goes out, and then he has you follow him, which I will do. And then we have to kill a few more zombies along the way. Yeah, so just overall, just odd serpentining path. Zombies that are just appearing literally out of the ether. For the sake of us just killing a bunch. And not to mention, like, there's other oddities. Like, this particular headstone just gets its own little spot here. Like, this person must be particularly prominent to have this gravestone just kind of set out for them with this amount of real estate around. And I think this is just purely for the sake of zombies to spawn here to kill as well. Like, I think there's a variety of different spawning points for these zombies. I'm gonna go over here to just preempt the deal with the poison zombie. And another thing to comment on, because of the fact that he conjured up this fire, was there was a few tankers here that he blows up that causes this flame pillar to show up. Again, do not ask me why there is a set of tankers here to be blown up in a graveyard. Not to mention those barrels there as well. Somehow I didn't blow those up when I killed that poison zombie. Huh. And yeah, there's even more over here. So I'm not sure if Grigori set that up himself. Okay, he's getting a little swamped. He's getting a little distracted. I'm not sure if he set them up himself, or they were just put there and it's just, you know, convenient for our sake. But yeah, just re-emphasizing the serpentine nature is that it makes the graveyard incredibly tight, and as a result does not give much space for these graves to be dug, like, in a sensible manner. Like, some do, like these, obviously, but those other ones definitely do not. And, you know, I do understand that not all graves have corpses buried in them. Like, they are just headstones for the sake of having a headstone. But I don't know if a town like if you have these, for example, kind of makes me believe that all the other ones they just don't have the funds to have graves of this, like, intricate manner. So I don't know if that's really a really good cover for that. And then obviously, once we've, you know, waylaid all those zombies, he activates this weird mechanism that raises this fence up only to crouch height for some reason. Well, he doesn't even raise it all the way up. And obviously this is the sequence where you basically say your goodbyes to Grigori, and presumably he fights these zombies to his death. And I'm not sure why this mechanism would be, like, you have to, like, basically have somebody, like, hold on and activate it to keep this up this way. I'm not even sure exactly why this mechanism is here in the first place for something like a graveyard like this that comprises this church, which we'll get into in a moment. And yeah, he's really mouthing off on me, so I'll go over here, and, you know, he'll say is, you know, I've taken you to a darker place, and all that. Yeah, see? And then, just before we go into the room where we level transition into the second to last Ravenholm map, do you remember what I said about that weird out-of-bounds thing in D1_town02? Well, we can clip out, and as you can see, it does somewhat correlate with that section into the mines. It's not one-to-one, but I feel like it can't be a coincidence that this is set in a similar pattern along with the architecture of this church or whatever to the area we go into. And then speaking of the church, you see this back portion of the church? Well, this is a lie, because if we clip out, you can see that we see more of the architecture of the church on this side. meaning that they essentially they either like had to they truncated the amount of distance you go between these two sections to make the church shorter, like smaller than it actually is, or the path shorter than it actually is, or they gave you the impression that this church is larger than it actually is from the path that we like traverse. As you can see, it just copies this back portion of the church architecture in this way. And more to do with the church is, once we go through that whole procession, we can go up here, and we can get this nice little, essentially like balcony view, I guess you would call it, of the graveyard. But this pathway is only available through that weird fence gateway thing after you serpentine. There's like no doors of any kind here. I mean, if there were doors, it'd probably buy the idea that somebody would, go out here and, they would lay on the fence and reminisce about life and death and all that, weird philosophies of that matter. I just realized there's all these weird crosses here. Like, is the implication that somebody... Yeah, like, there's crosses and headstones here. Like, is the implication that somebody actually went all the way up here to bury a body, or even just plant these? It's just silly. I mean, it's so, like, Halloween shtick, in a way. I just noticed that. So funny. And then, yeah, with that is it for D1_town_02A. And that's it for that map. We only have 2 more maps to complete until we are done with the Ravenholm chapter, so tune in for the next 2 weeks for more to come.